Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I appreciate that you guys have taken time off to come here. This is a new venture for Poochus. We're just trying something new. We hope, like everything else that we've tried, it will take its own course, and with God's will, it will go wherever it has to go. So, thank you so much for being here. So the person that we're going to start with is somebody that I've looked up to for many, many years. I've learned a lot from this person. Although I remember meeting him, it was 2003, towards the end of 2003, we did a play together where he was acting in it and I was doing a bit of dancing. But at that time I was 24, 25, I had a lot of ego, so I didn't learn anything from him at that point of time because I thought I knew better. But over the years, I got a chance to watch him, to see the kind of stuff that he's done. And with all honesty, I can tell you that he's one of my favorite people on stage. I love his work. Like I said, I've learned a lot from him in terms of how to direct a play, especially when you choose your genre of play. For a particular genre, this is how you direct it. If it's a different genre, this is how you would direct that. So based on that, I've learned quite a bit because I usually like the musical genre a lot. But over the years, we've also been trying something different. So yes, among quite a few people in the city who I've looked up to as theatre artists, as people who are my peers, I think this person is somebody I've looked up to the most. He is an actor, director, writer extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Venkatraman Balakrishnan, fondly known as Bala. Thank you so much, Bala. Thank you so much. Please sit down. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Bala. So this it's the first time, so I have no idea what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. We've done a little bit of stuff, so let's see how it goes. So I'd like to start off with what does theatre mean to you?
Tough question. What does theatre mean to me? It means things which I think one would ordinarily not relate with theatre, drama, acting. For me, theatre is a lot about compassion. It's about loyalty. It is about people getting together and working together at whatever it may be. And I think it most importantly for me is about developing that singular stream of consciousness where we can understand each other without having to verbally articulate it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Bala. All right. This is something that I've always wanted to ask you. All right. Because I have no idea. All right. Because I've explained the stuff that I've done or why it is. But Theatre Nisha, how did you conceive the name and why Theatre Nisha?
It's actually a word from one of the first dialogues I ever uttered on stage. When I was in college, we were doing this street play, and in which there is it's like literally the first words I uttered on stage, which goes like, "Kya yahan hai Nisha yahan hai Usha kahan o ab kaho." So when I wanted to start this group, I just took the first word I'd kind of uttered on stage.
Nice. See, I never knew that. Fred, did you know that? I did not know that. Awesome. Great. Because I remember years back when I was Nicholas Productions and we did something called the Big Bang Festival, and Amit did a small segment and he was generally talking about different theatre artists. So the thing he said about me is, I guess this guy has three fathers because his name is Denver Anthony Nicholas. And then the thing about Bala is, I don't understand why Nisha, because his wife's name is not Nisha. So why Nisha? So it was always been on my mind, why Theatre Nisha? Thank you. I will remember that. Okay. Perfect. What is your most memorable experience from one of your plays? Whether as an actor or as a director, your most memorable experience?
I think there are quite a bit, and I mean, it's very difficult to pick out just one, because I think you know that also very well, that every play it strikes a particular chord. There is something we get from it, we learn from it, it gives us something in abundance. But I might pick this one time when I was acting on stage. This is Ramdhari Singh Dinkar's Rashmi Rathi. It's a one-person show. It's in Hindi, and I'm portraying the role of this warrior Karna, who is valorous, who is so powerful and strong. This was in Alliance. Okay. And even as I'm acting on stage, from the corner of my eye, I can see a mouse, which is attempting to cross the stage. And I have a fear of rodents.
Me too.
So here I am trying to portray the role of a great warrior who is not afraid of fighting, death, blood, etc. And there is a part of me which is like, there is a rat on stage. So that kind of brought all the teachings of theatre to the fore, that what is a character, who is an actor, is there an amalgamation of both, are both different identities? So yeah, something like that.
Yeah, awesome. Speaking of, I'm petrified of rodents, I'm petrified of squirrels. You are a much better actor than me, because if I had to see one on stage, I would definitely run into the audience, especially if it's a squirrel. I like no chance.
I like it. I found someone like me.
Oh, I'm very afraid. I'm like, if anybody plays a prank on me with squirrels, I swear to God, I will murder y'all. But yeah, I'm very afraid. Great. So now, since you spoke about that play, we're talking about memorable plays. Obviously, so this memory was because of the rodent. But if there was any other memorable play or particular scene that you liked or was always etched in your mind, for whatever reason, would you be open enough at the moment and honor us and give us like a 2-liner or 3-liner performance of any of the plays you've done?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how much of a performance it will be, because I haven't practiced for it, but definitely there'll be I can render some lines.
Yes.
And again, this is from the same play, Rashmi Rathi.
Okay.
And in the end of it, this character is going to die. And the way I decided to design and portray it on stage was that since his chariot wheel is stuck in the mud, and he is attempting to release it, and that's not happening. But at the point at which he decides to break his bond with earth, at the point at which he decides to let go and surrender to the divine being, the chariot wheel comes out, because he's decided to die. So the way I did it was, I lift this plate of, this is a plate filled with rose petals, and I kind of empty it on my head to show that now he is uniting with the divine being.
Oh, nice.
And the dialogue which I speak there is, Prabha Mandal Bharo Jhankar Bolo, Jagat ki Jyotiyon Nij Dwar Kholo, Tapasya Rochi Bhushit La Raha Hoon, Chada Main Rashmi Rath Par Aa Raha Hoon. So these lines have stayed with me literally for all my theatre life. And whenever I speak them on stage, they mean a lot more to me than just dialogues being uttered.
Awesome. Thank you, Bala. So I understand Hollywood Hindi. Like, I can watch a movie or watch a series and I can understand. But this is a little bit, I didn't get the essence of it. So can you translate that for me? What it means? Because it means so much to you, and like you said, it's got a deep meaning. Just for a better understanding for me and for all those here pretending that they know Hindi.
So I think what the character out here is saying is that I am not just what I am in this moment. I am also all the good deeds that I have done in my life. So when I march into any battle of my life, I'm not just carrying weapons with me. I'm carrying, every time I have done some good deed, so I tried to help someone, tried to be compassionate, tried to be generous, spoken the truth in spite of the odds, all those are weapons which always are there with me. And even now, as I am surrendering myself and deciding to ride the chariot of truth and climb to heaven, with me is going to come all this illumination and light that I have kind of earned in my life.
Perfect. That's nice. That's quite strong. It's nice. Who's the writer for the play?
This is national poet Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, who used to write around the time of pre-independence and post-independence.
Nice. Good writing. I'm just going off script because it sounds very interesting, the things you were saying. So, based on what you said right now, right? I know it has a lot of essence, because there are certain plays that really that hit you, that talk to you, because of either there'll be one line that will stick with you and stay with you. So based on what you said, especially that one line about the moment is not just this moment, but all the good deeds that I've done in my life, and the rest that you said. Do you, in some way, in any percentage of your life, do you live by these words? Whether it is in your life, in your stage life, do you live by it? Does it make a difference in your day-to-day life, these words?
I think it definitely helped to get some empowerment and strength, especially in difficult times.
Okay.
When one is facing a time when one feels that things are not going well, one feels like it's not in my hands, I don't know what to do. In these times of despair, I think the hope comes from the actions that one has performed in one's life. In the sense that you think about times when you have tried to fight against the tide, when you have tried to rise against the odds, when you have gone out of your way to try and make a difference in the life of someone else. I think remembering it at that point lets you know that all is not lost, and somewhere the good energies that one has acquired will stand by one's stead and help us to even get beyond this.
Nice, perfect. Again, I'm just playing off everything that we're doing here. Are you a religious man, Bala? Do you have faith in a supreme being or a superpower? And if so, does that allow you to be in that faith or in that religion?
I definitely am an immensely religious person.
Okay.
And bless you. And, and I'm an immensely religious person, and I do believe in the existence of something which is far, far stronger, powerful than me. And I do believe that I also belong to it. Perfect. So I do believe that there is a universal consciousness, that there is an immense tapestry within which all of us do belong, and in that sense, each one of us actually becomes the other person. And somewhere when I am looking at Denver, there is a part of me that is Denver's, and there's a part of Denver's which is me, and in that sense I believe that we both are connected, and that connection goes to the Supreme. So yes, I think in that sense I am a very religious person.
Perfect. Nice. Thank you. I've always wondered. So these are things that I've always wondered about people that I've known. Like I know you for what little more than 20 years.
20 years.
But
yeah.
We've actually not had a conversation.
Yeah.
A conversation like, hey Bala, what's up? How are you? You're doing good, great. So what's next? Oh yeah. Oh awesome. You're writing. So thank you for this. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much for being honest, because not many people like to talk about their religious beliefs. So for like you said, a supernatural consciousness, and for me it is God. So just different terms. For me, I believe it's the same thing, just different terms. Just what faith you're brought up in is what I believe. True. But thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Since we went off topic slightly, because we started about your most memorable play and those few lines you enacted, how do you approach a play as a writer? Like how does an idea processes itself into words onto a page, and then those words, how does it go on to being on stage? For now, we'll just stick with the writing bit. How do you approach a play as a writer?
I think for me, it usually starts with a singular idea or a singular word or a singular image or something which is by itself, and it's something that initiates within me an entire story or a narrative. So, I mean, just to talk with an example, for my play Sordid, for Sordid, there was just one image, there was one story, that in South Africa, when young women, they go to fetch water and they have to go to these wells which are controlled by the militia. And when they are fetching water, there is a lot of physical harassment and sexual abuse that happens. And the fact that they are carrying these pots of water does not let their hands also free to fend for themselves. So this was a very, very disturbing image that for me it was a catharsis which had to happen, and it happened in the form of a play which was Sordid. So I'm not someone who has been initiated into writing a play with a particular method or following the rules and regulations of plots, narratives, acts and scenes. So that is the way it happens, that there is a word, there is something which stimulates an entire narrative. And then once that comes into place, I sit with my people in my team and we read it together, I get their feedback and slowly it starts taking shape in that sense.
Perfect, nice. By the way, I loved Sordid.
Thank you.
I watched it, I really enjoyed it. For those of you who have not watched the play, will you be doing it again sometime?
I hope so.
Perfect. You guys should, it's a beautiful play. It's got some amazing performances by Shakti, Meera, Shivangi.
Yeah.
KG is also in it, right?
Yes, KG is
yeah,
also
I enjoyed the play. It was very moving. I didn't know it was the South Africa thing, but the way I really enjoyed it because I remember sitting there in the audience and initially I had an issue with visuals because there was this tall guy sitting in front of me and it was every 30 seconds doing this and that. But after I got over that, when I got into the play, for a lot of scenes, I had to close my eyes because this guy was really tall and he was being an ass and I wanted to fucking hit him. But I closed my eyes, but I could still visualize everything from the way you wrote it, from the way your actors were delivering it. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm telling you the truth. It moved me. It's a brilliant play. You won an award for that as well, right? Yes. Which, can you tell us something little bit about that?
It was the last year of the Hindu Theatre Festival, and I think it was the last year that the playwriting award was also was given. And 2019, I had won this award.
Perfect. Yeah. Congratulations. I loved it. I loved it. And the other play that I watched, which moved me a lot, was Margali. I don't know why I rolled my R over there for a moment, but I really enjoyed it because, and I think when I came and spoke to you about it also, I had tears in my eyes because as a dancer starting off, I know what it was, but to see it in the classical space, I didn't know that existed there. I knew it existed this side, but to see it there and it brought out a lot of emotion for me. Especially there was this one bit. If you guys haven't watched Margali, please watch it. When they put it up, it's another beautiful play. There's one bit where they're sitting at a performance and they're being treated like shit, basically. They're in the green room or somewhere in a hotel. And I remember the millions of times where we would go to perform and we'd be standing in the doorway. Like you see Taj and all, it's beautiful. You walk into Taj, you walk into the ballroom, it's beautiful. They've got this stage, but the dancers are treated like shit because you're thrown in this little pathway at the back where everything is running about and you're stuck there. There's no place for you to change. But you still do it. You do it because you're an artist. So thank you for that, because that play also had an immense effect on me. Thank you for that. All right. So now we're going to go into something that it's a little bit creative process. Yeah. I'd like to give you a word, and if you could indulge me in coming up with a one-sentence plot for a play for that word. And the word is transgression.
Transgression. All right. So Denver works with this special school where he teaches movement therapy. He conducts movement therapy, and there he meets this teacher whom he falls in love with. No real story, right?
No. I could never know. It's been 25 years. You'd never know.
And the school lets him know, once they come to know about his feelings for this teacher, that if the teacher and him are going to take it forward, they both will have to leave the school, because school rules do not allow two working professionals to have a private relationship. And Denver now needs to make a decision on whether the children matter to him more, because he's making amazing improvement with them. There is amazing good feedback from the parents. But on the other hand, it's about his love, his feelings for this person, and he needs to take a decision.
Perfect. Thank you. It's given us idea for script. Thank you so much, Bala. Really nice idea. I'll probably write it into a play. But I'll probably do two different versions of it. So one would be the Denver from the mid-20s, early 30s, and one would be now. The Denver in the mid-20s would be like, fuck the children. The Denver now will probably be like, okay, yes, let's do it for the children. But yeah, thank you for that idea. That was nice. Just so I've got a few personal things, but it's not something that is too deep. And if at any point in time you feel that you don't want to answer these questions, it's not a problem at all. But there are no questions like that. So, what are your favorite genre of movies?
Favorite genre? I like westerns a lot.
Oh.
I love westerns. I still love to catch Fistful of Dollars and Tombstone and all that. And I love noir. And I love gang movies a lot.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Speaking of westerns, Prime, the Lionsgate, now they've got all the westerns out. Yeah?
Yes.
I was scrolling, I was like, hey, oh, wow, okay, nice. So gang movies, what kind of, so are you the John Wick type of gang movies, or you're more the Martin Scorsese type, like Gangs of New York?
Both. I love Gangs of New York. I watched all the 4 John Wicks. And,
oh, yeah, awesome.
And Gangs of Wasseypur. And I think all genre which fits into that. Okay. I love that kind of movies. Yeah.
Nice. I wouldn't have, for the life of me, thought that you would have been a John Wick fan. It's great. Awesome. Your favorite cuss word?
I stopped cussing after I came to Chennai. Okay. I used to cuss a lot in Delhi. I think Shakti keeps reminding me still of my Delhi days when I used to use invectives like punctuation marks. And there was a lot in Delhi. And some of them now I don't use it because they are not politically correct. And I think my mother is watching this since Aparna is. So we will pass this question.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't hesitate to say my favorite cuss word, but I'm also trying. I'm really trying to get it out of my day-to-day vocabulary. I've tried, Fred. Come on. You watch all our shows.
You used like 20 minutes ago.
No, that's okay. I'm saying I'm trying. I used one. One. Okay. All right. Little bit more. I want to get to know you a little bit more. What was Bala like as a teenager?
From what I remember and from what people remind me, they say that I was not fun-loving. Okay. And I was an extremely brooding kind of person. Okay. And I think that I'm not that anymore. I don't brood, and I think I'm a lot more outgoing and fun-loving now. Okay. But I think I was a very introvert kind of a person, which I think I still am. My sister calls me the most extrovert introvert she has ever met. So something of that sort. But I was a very quiet person as a teenager. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Your mom and dad's influence on you as a person, and if it has had any influence on you as an artist, your mom and dad?
I think it comes completely from there, because as a child, my father used to tell me stories every day to put me to sleep. Okay. And from what I remember, that stories had to be also physically embodied for me to enjoy them. It was the same story every night, but I needed the physical embodiment of the bad person falling down, the good person fighting, and the stories that my mother used to narrate to me, read to me. She introduced me to great stories in easy English by Charles and Mary Lamb when I was very young, and also Shakespearean plays made simple. So I think all that had the biggest influence in exposing one to drama and plot. So that stayed with me for a very, very long time.
Nice, awesome. And in your personal life, do they still have an influence on you in the way you deal with things in life?
I think there is still a lot of things I am carrying with myself, and a lot of resilience of my mother is I think that I have inherited a lot of it. I'm told that I have a lot of my father's diplomacy, because he was in the government, he was a bureaucrat. I think I carry them in everything I do.
Perfect. So you said dad. So mom's still alive, dad isn't?
Yeah, my mom's with me. She's with me. My dad passed away when I was 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
And he was in the government. Okay. So, but yeah, I think their influence has led to me developing an inclination and disposition towards theatre. Even if my mom reviewed that fact later, but yes.
Nice. If you don't mind talking a little bit more about that. Because I lost my dad when I was 39, and I know the effect it has on me still. Did it have how did it affect you being a young man, especially? I think 18 is still a kid. When we were 18, we thought we were men. you know, but now being 45, I know you're 18, you're still a child, you're a baby, you're still a baby. So at that time in your life, losing your dad, and how did it affect you? Is there anything you would like to talk about on that subject? If you don't, absolutely fine.
I think that I must have started by blocking that thing off.
Okay.
In the sense, trying to get on with life and doing what is required, but not getting ready to face that emotional, traumatic thing. Okay. And later in life, slowly start accepting, start looking at it once again. So even today, I get affected by it. But I think there was a very strong blocking of allowing the aftermath of that incident to strike me, because I felt that was, I think it was a defense mechanism. In fact, the house where my father passed away, even though I stayed in Delhi for some time, I never visited that street. And the last time I visited, finally when I developed the strength, the fortitude to go and visit that place once again, was in 2018, when I had gone for a convocation to Delhi. And the place where the convocation was being held in Habitat Center was bang opposite to where I used to live. So the first time I actually stepped out and stood in front of that house after literally 20 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That must have been a moment.
That was.
I know. I can totally understand moments like this. I used to be somebody who used to cry for anything. Like really, I'm a crybaby. I used to be a crybaby. Till now, I'll tear up. I'll get sentimentally emotional about a lot of things. I'll tear up. But since my dad died, I've not cried. I've not been able to cry. I need to go for therapy to find out what the block is. But thank you for sharing that experience with me and with us. Do you get angry, Bala? And if so, what is the outcome?
I do get angry, and somewhere, unfortunately, down the line, I have taught myself not to show my anger, which I think is bad because it kind of stays inside. But my team knows when I get angry, and I usually try to tide it out, in the sense that I don't want to end up doing something I regret, or use words which I might regret having spoken, and trying to control it. But anger is mostly, it happens when people don't deliver after promises. That's I think you feel that. So that's where it occurs, especially in the field. But I try to control it.
Perfect. I'm just taking from this. Knowing what you know now, like as a more matured person, a more matured man, including me, do you think, or do you regret not knowing this, like holding back your anger or working on it in a different way? Because I'm similar to where you are in that space, and I think it's only because of age. You kind of try to understand who you're working with, why you're working with them, what is the reason for you to yell or not yell or lose your temper. But do you feel that, man, I wish I knew this when I was in my early 20s, in my early 30s, when we did and said stuff that we do regret now?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
On one hand, I do, because it would have made the 18s and 19s so much more
beautiful,
more zen, etc. But on the other hand, I also feel that it is something that one had to go through in order now to realize that peace of mind, to realize that kind of an equilibrium and balance. I think it makes more sense to have it now. Yeah. I think I don't know, maybe it was Bernard Shaw who said that youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah. I want to say something, but nice, awesome. Your best memory as a kid?
I think my best memory as a kid is made a lot of playing.
Okay.
And when I use this word playing, it was ritualistic. In the sense, it's an evening thing. It's about when children from all around the neighborhood gather in one singular place. We decide the games we are going to play. We divide ourselves into teams. We develop so much of camaraderie. And I think those are amazing memories, and I miss them.
Yeah.
I miss them, and I miss the children of today missing them.
Yeah.
So those are memories that are completely etched that entire joy of coming back home, sweating, wanting to go back tomorrow and prove a point, you know, the losing, the winning, the stories that used to come up, the narratives that we developed. I think so much of my theatre work developed at that young age, when we exchanged stories and we saw life firsthand. So those have, they still make up some of the most beautiful memories.
Yeah, I know. I miss them too. You know, because school days you'd have that between 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. But then summer holidays, were you one of those summer holidays like wake up at 8 and then you're out and play the entire day and come back?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
12 noon, sun is right, you know, on top of your head and you're playing cricket and people are screaming for you to get back into the house.
Yeah.
Those were the best games.
Yeah, best days, yeah. I remember once when I was 13 or so, it wasn't summer holidays, it was the school days. I loved to play cricket at that time and all that. And I always used to come home a little late. So my dad got me a watch to say, because I always used to come back with an excuse saying, how am I supposed to know the time? How will I know it's 5:30 to come back? So he got me a watch. I thought I was brilliant. So I went home late as usual, but he wanted to 5:30 when it was like 5:45. I went home and said, no, it's 5:30. And my dad took the belt and belted the shit out of me and said, you have to remember you came out from my ball sack. But yeah, but those were the days. That's nice. Thank you. I missed it. Thank you for giving me memories of them. We'll go back to a little bit of theatre now. So we spoke about how you approach a script as a writer. How do you approach a script as an actor and a director?
So for me, both those approaches are quite similar.
Okay.
And one of the things that we talk about quite a bit in Theatre Nisha is this concept of character.
Okay.
To understand what do we mean when we use this word character. And what we like to say is that the character is actually an illusion which is facilitated in the minds of the audience by whatever the actor does.
Okay.
So we say that the actor has nothing to do with the character. The actor is like a magician who does a certain bit of physical stuff on stage, and that allows the illusion of the character to be created in the minds of the audience. So to wean away from this concept of character, to say that I am the character, or I become the character, or I feel the character, is the approach of the actor. We tell the actor to stay away from the character so the audience can create it effectively, just like a magician does a magic trick.
Perfect.
The magician has zero belief in that. The magician does not believe that they cut the girl in two,
Exactly.
or you know that they created a rabbit out of the air. No, that's for the audience.
believes.
So become the creator, the facilitator of the creation of the illusion. So that is the approach as an actor, that is the approach as a director. Because I'm a director by default. By blood, I am an actor. So I just carry that forward into direction also.
Nice, thank you. That's quite interesting because, again, being in the same, trying the same, at least the same field of what we do. You heard these terms, become the character, find your character. And this is a very different take altogether. I mean, I've heard this from your team members. I think you've also written it out as a statement on one of your posts somewhere.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about it. I've not found it yet. Someday I might fine-tune myself to get to this process. I still haven't gotten that there, is where you get the audience to create an illusion of what you are. Because personally, I always try to be what is written on script or what I've created. This is very interesting. I'll find a way to get it there someday. Maybe someday I'll come for one of your workshops. When I start earning money, that's the problem. As artists, we don't make money. But thank you so much for that, Bala. Theatre evolution. So now you've been doing this for 26 years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Almost 29 now.
29?
Yes.
Wonderful. Which was your first time on stage?
1994 is when I first did a professional play.
Okay.
And before that I've dabbled with what one does in college, etc.
Okay, yeah.
94 is when I ascended the stage for a professional performance.
Yeah. See, I get that, and I think this kind of understanding comes from, I think it's lost in today's generation, because I also consider my first professional performance 99 when I went on stage for the first time on stage. But I've met 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds who've come for audition, and I'll ask, so how long you been doing this? 16 years, real. Then I'll be like, so then I'm doing this from the time I was in third standard. So, but yeah, so all right. So since you've been doing this for 29 years, what are the changes you've seen in the city, in our city? Okay, we're talking about in Chennai. What are the changes you've seen in our city in theatre over the past 2 decades?
I think one of the most important, one of the most stark things that I've seen is that the way the audience is responding to theatre and to actors has changed a lot. I remember even in 2004, 2005 when theatre used to happen, audience used to stay back. They wanted to talk to the actors. There used to be loud debates, about what you said in the play, what you did in the play, etc. But now suddenly I find that the audience is not so much interested in creating that actual communion. They have paid their money, so they have come and they have watched whatever they wanted and they go back. And there I get scared. Okay. I get scared because until and unless the audience participates in this communion, something wrong is happening. Because end of the day, when we are indulging in theatre, we are looking at the society as a whole growing stronger because of it, the greater good happening. But now it has become a commodity. It is like people to watch and they are going back somewhere. We have also been relegated to a YouTube reel, and that is very scary. Okay. Yeah.
So two parts of the next question. Again, I'm going off script, taking from what he said. First is, does this version of what's happening right now with the audience, does it piss you off? And second is the onus on the audience or is the onus on the people who are presenting theatre to the audience? Who does the onus fall on?
I think it very strongly falls on people who are devoting their time and life to theatre. Okay. I think it also falls upon them to call out theatre which is not theatre, which is missing in Chennai, because maybe everybody is very large-hearted here. Yeah. Everyone wants to support every kind of work, which is good in one way. But what is also happening, like you said, people have done theatre for 16 years because they did third standard plays, have now started also calling out that what they are doing is theatre, and the audience is not calling them out. Yeah. I think it's very important that to realize it's not because, hey, what I do is better than what you do. Not at all. Anyone who climbs on stage is doing an amazing job, but it is for the audience to stay and debate and be a critique. Where are the theatre critics? They're gone. Yeah. They're finished off. They're missing now. I mean, whatever criticism and critical analysis is happening just through our own people. So every play is brilliant. Every play need not be brilliant. And the fact that it is not brilliant is a brilliant thing, because that play will grow. Because that play is showing some weaknesses, which means it is the weakness of us as a social system. And we need to grow. So I think the lack of critics is killing us. Very true.
I will agree with you completely on that. But I'm asking you, the reason I asked you, does it piss you off, is because it pisses me off. Because the lack of criticism pisses me off. Like you said, we are in the YouTube reel, we are in the Instagram reel phase. Like you said, everybody now is doing a good job. The criticism it's like, how was the play? It was great. You were brilliant. And the fact that people don't stay back is because I think 80% of the audiences that we have now, on a larger scale, I know that Theatre Nisha has a specific audience who will come. I know that Poochus has now created a kind of a specific audience that come and say. But on the whole, when you see different theatre groups getting together, I think audiences they're not coming to watch the play, they're coming to watch their sister, brother, friend perform. And that's it. So so there is no criticism because of that. And yes, it does piss me off a lot as well. But I can't keep my mouth shut also at times. So I will definitely go and tell people that, if I didn't like somebody's performance for whatever reason or whatever, I'd go and tell them. But also I know who will have the capacity and understanding to take that kind of criticism from me. Absolutely. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go up to a first timer and tell them that, or at least I would tell them in a different way. Do you do that, Bala? Do you go and tell people that for instance, someone close performing to you, or somebody that would understand that they did a bad play, or that their performance wasn't as good as it was?
I think like doctors, I like to follow this tenet that first do no harm.
Okay.
So I like to. I mean, if there is a performance that I have some issues with, I will definitely tell them if I know that they genuinely want to hear it.
Perfect.
Some people want to ask you how was I because they simply want you to say that you were good. So I think in those times it makes sense to say you were good.
Yeah.
Because maybe it helps them to grow. That's perfectly okay. But then there are people who genuinely ask in terms of design, in terms of lighting, in terms of characterization, you think something went amiss. There one can have a discussion based on one's experience. There I love to talk. But where you know that it's not going to be heard, I think it's amazing show.
Yeah. Super Panamal. Sexy Ramadan. Yeah, killed it. You were awesome. Awesome, perfect. Thank you for that. So we kind of touched on this topic, which we both said in our own terms, what is lacking. Is there anything more that you would like to talk about? What is lacking in the theatre community in Chennai at the moment?
I think in order for Chennai's theatre to become vibrant, grow stronger, Chennai needs a nightlife. I think if Chennai's nightlife improves, if people are getting into the habit of staying out till 12, 1 a.m., I think theatre will also see a surge of more audience coming. Somewhere there is a mindset in Chennai's audience that 9 p.m. means be inside the house, lock the doors, have your dinner, watch your favorite serial and go to sleep because we have to be up at 5 o'clock. Somewhere theatre demands that we break rules. Theatre demands that we go beyond these parameters that we are setting up. Theatre demands that we become wild, and I think we are lacking the wild. We need, and I think with good reasons, that it is not safe out there. Somewhere the streets need to be safer, we need to stay out, we need more parties, we need to have more fun, and I think theatre will grow because more people come together, theatre by default enhances itself.
I think I sort of makes sense in what you're saying, especially since you're saying that and then going back to in my memory box what's happening. Because I think Chennai didn't have a theatre. The nightlife is now slowly opening up and all that, for a past couple of years. But there was, I think, at least a decade in between where everything shut at 11. Yeah, there were no pubs. First of all, there were no pubs. There were no pubs. There were like very selective clubs. But there was a time when things used to happen till 4:30 in the morning. There were times that I remember when I started off going to parties. Every Saturday there'll be a party in someone's house and you'd go and you'd have fun. And theatre was thriving at that time. Even though it was limited groups, there were very few groups, but it was thriving more than... Now there's a surge of it, but I think you and I know that it's not thriving in the way it's supposed to thrive.
You might remember when Mithran used to have the World Theatre Day party. Just a day when, just a day when everyone got together and had bhel puri and punch.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun because you all met together, plays were being discussed, what's going to happen. I think theatre people are not congregating together. We need to congregate.
Very true. But I also think in some way, see, I know at that point of time, I know because I was part of the theatre fraternity at that point of time, but I was still a dancer and a choreographer. I was still not considered a theatre artist. And I think at that point in time, it was a little bit more closed. It was a little bit lesser people. Yeah, it was an elite kind of a group. You needed to be invited into it by your performance or by what you were doing, your commitment to theatre, your discipline to it. So I guess it worked at that time. But today there's so many of us. Like, I don't know. I would love to have a theatre cast party for everybody.
Yes.
But who's going to sell the booze? But I get it. We should at some point of time. And again, coming to that, and I believe one of the reasons why a festival like Short and Sweet has done that for many years is because of that. I'm not too happy about how it has become now, but I remember 6 years, 8 years back, even 4 years back, it used to be a space where we actually would come and sit and talk, and we would share stories in that 1 week. Because I remember coming there early, like 3 o'clock, 3:30, and you would sit and you talk to Mati, talk to you, talk to different people, just get out of your group. I never spoke to the people I was acting with when I was at Short and Sweet. I never spoke to them. But now it's entirely different.
It's different, yeah.
Nobody's talking to the other actors. They're all talking to them. Like, guys, go on stage and talk to each other. That's what you're here to do. But I get it. Maybe we should. Maybe you, I, people like Fred, maybe we'll have a little bit more like-minded people. Or we'll restart. What do you say, Fred? Restart Khichdi Theatre? Why not? Because I still hear a lot about it from people.
Yes, sir.
So
You were
we
there.
should. We should. Okay, so I'm now again unfiltered, right? I'm going to say something and just the first thing that comes to your mind. Yeah? Awards.
Women. I planned it.
I'll agree to disagree. Spotlight.
Women.
Meera.
Play.
Green room.
Women.
Co-actor.
Shakti.
Contemporary.
Theatre.
Okay. Method acting.
Blah.
Alliance Francis.
Plays.
Okay. Hollywood.
Rajni.
Critic.
No one.
Comfort food.
French fries.
Okay. Failure.
Many times.
Chennai.
Silence.
Okay. Music.
I'm thinking, so I'm
No
not
worries.
saying, yeah.
No worries. Theatre Nisha.
Quiet.
Okay. This I'm just adding it for me. Kiss Theatre Festival.
Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Again, going back to a bit of theatre now. So, in your plays, when you do a play, especially as a director and a writer, as an actor, we act with different people. But in your plays, do you believe that theatre should convey a message to the audience, or is it primarily a space for entertainment?
I believe that theatre should not be there with the objective of conveying a message, because I feel then it becomes very uni-directional. It becomes like one of those Panchatantra stories about having a moral at the end of it. I think theatre should be quite open-ended. It's for people to deliberate and debate and figure out, is there something for them to carry or to ask a question, etc. Entertainment is very important, because here I define entertainment mostly as engagement.
Okay.
That is, when the people on stage and the people off stage, they engage together, they interact together, that is genuine entertainment. Again, it cannot be relegated to just some laughter or something which is very momentary, but it has got to be something deeper, which means it has to last both of us together for some time, wherein we are thinking of each other and how we can actually relate and interact with each other. So again, it brings me to that C word, communion.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. Thank you. I really appreciate it, because I also don't like doing things with message. I'm not too fond of watching things that have messages in it, even though I like the play or the way it's written or the way it's directed. Like I said, I don't think, maybe at one point of time, yes, the stage was for you to put across a message that is strong. I really don't believe it, because why I don't believe this is because I feel that your homework that goes into it is not enough. So yeah, see, like a well-written, properly play-written Animal Farm, something like that. Yes, you've got a lot of thought process that's gone into it. That plays like that, yes, but I don't know, I'm not for it, but I'm glad that you're also sort of not for it. Thank you. So speaking of messages and stuff like that, or the lack of it, or, are there any theatre actors in the fraternity that you've looked up to and learned from? And if so, can you share an instance?
Many of them, and fortunately or unfortunately, most of them are my peers. Okay. It is from the time when in Chennai, I was looking at actors and directors, both of them. So there is Dish Mariwala. I don't know how many of the young ones here remember him.
No, only Fred and me know.
Yes. So Dish is a person from whom I learned a lot about stage presence. Okay. I always used to be a little conscious of myself on stage. So there used to be a lot about, am I standing correctly? Am I, catching the light? So I learned a lot from Deesh about being relaxed on stage and working. So he is someone that I have definitely learned quite a bit from. And then the Kudupatrai actor Jayakumar.
Okay.
Once again, a person who carried himself with a lot of flamboyance on stage. So to understand, to get into that ease of the frame of mind where you rule the stage. I mean, he's a man who rules the stage. So that's something that I try to pick up from him. Okay. Actors like Kumravel, who are so nonchalant, who absolutely are not, who don't give a fig on what is happening because they stay in command of the moment. So these are actors from whom I did pick up a lot. From you, I have picked up something very important and interesting, which is about gaining loyalty.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much you believe in that.
I do. Yeah.
Because I have seen that those who work with you are extremely loyal to you, what is it that you wish to do, and they stand by you. And that is something I have always wanted to develop in my own theatre company. And I'm glad to say that that we did manage to reach that space where we can be there for each other. And that's something I picked up from you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, really. Thank you. There's a lot of shouting that goes behind getting that loyalty. But thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So speaking of this, where is he? Do you still keep in touch with him?
I think he's, I mean, we are very vaguely in touch.
Okay.
In the sense that I do see his messages on Facebook or something like that. We have not been exchanging messages for a very long time. He's married, he's a kid, he's doing Shakespeare in the park.
Oh, he's not in the country?
Not in the country, he's in England, and Deesh is Deesh.
Okay, good. Nice. Awesome. Now moving away from the stage a little bit. How do you personally define success?
For me, success has to be, it has a lot to do with peace of mind. Okay. If I'm able to come back home feeling relaxed, empty, and I can go to bed with an absolutely empty mind, I think that day for me has been successful. There are days when there is this so-called social success, with people coming and saying, hey, great work, or great pay, or you have got an award. But those are not exactly always the days when you go to sleep with a clean heart and an empty mind. You're still weighed down. That is not success. I think success for me depends a lot on whether I am completely dependent on myself. If there is any dependence on someone else for whatever I do, that for me is not success.
I didn't know we're very, very much alike. I depend on all of you all, okay? Don't run away. Thank you. Yeah, it's true. Whenever a production is done, I'm always the first one to run away after we settle everything. I can't sleep that night, and that's why I drink. Every time after the show, I have to drink, but I understand it. I get what you're saying. Thank you. It's so nice. I didn't know so much about you, Bala. I should do this more often. Is there a specific achievement planned for Theatre Nisha that, when it is reached, will complete the circle of the company?
I think that plan is now being taken care more by people like Meera and Shakti in Theatre Nisha than so much by myself. I have kind of stepped back a little because they are the young ones, they are the ones who are more energetic, and there is an idea that whatever we have tried to do in the last, Theatre Nisha, I kind of started it in 2000, so 23 years done. So whatever that is that we have gained in terms of education, experience, etc., we have decided to create a course out of it wherein the stagecraft is something that now we would like to offer as a course for people who wish to learn about it, which Meera and Shakti are basically taking care of.
Perfect.
And I think that once we start sharing what the I don't want to use the word method, but whatever we do, when we share it with people who want to learn it, I think that completes the circle. That once again we took from life, and now we wish to give it back out there.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, giving back is very important. Nice. So stagecraft is this 21-day course?
21-day course, yeah.
course that is happening when?
We are starting it in October. It starts on October 17th,
Okay.
and it goes on till December 2nd.
Okay.
So it will be 21 days, 3 days a week.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. And how many hours, Bala?
It will be 5 hours a day
Perfect.
for 3 days.
Okay.
And there will be 4 components which we'll be working with: acting, physical movement, theatre games, and spatial relationships, and voice and speech.
Perfect, perfect. And what is the course fee for this?
Course fee is 21,000.
Perfect, awesome. Good. I just wanted to get it out there so that everybody knows. Nice, perfect. Do you have, for aspiring actors, writers, directors, what advice would you give them as they start their own journey in theatre?
I think it is the same thing that I have been saying for many, many years to anyone who asks me, I'm an actor, what should I do to stay close to the craft or to improve myself? Read. Read a lot, especially if you're in the profession as an actor. Read plays. You don't need to read anything else. Read plays, read short stories. Definitely engage with other aspects of performance. Go to watch dance performances. You can watch contemporary, you can watch classical, poetry. I think it's very important that actors stay in touch with all these different components, because the more you enhance your imagination, the better you are going to become as a theatre person. And when people shy away from watching performances, reading, etc., I think their craft also suffers then.
Okay, this is something I want to ask. Reflecting on your years in the fraternity, is there something that was once present but isn't there today that you miss?
I think I miss being I think I miss being the younger one in the group. Yes, I miss that. Because it was a revelation one day standing in a workshop when I realized that I'm the oldest among all of them here. So now suddenly this onus, responsibility, accountability started weighing down. And now I'm glad that I'm once again now like shedding it off. The younger ones are taking it up. Because when you are the younger one in the group, there is far more freedom. You know, you don't have to keep an eye on your eye. So that was something that I was missing, but I'm now getting it back.
Back? Yeah. Nice. I tried that a little bit last time when we did Muttal Kadal. I was like, guys, you take care of it. But it is such a I understand, it's such a different feeling. I mean, you still have everything that is there, but you know, okay, step back.
Yes.
Yeah. I miss being young too. All right. We have one section that we've planned for the audience. So if anybody would like to direct a question to Bala from the audience. Oh, you put me on this. Yes, go for it, friend.
Acting or directing?
Acting.
Theatre or movies?
Theatre.
Anybody else?
Never been there in movies in that sense.
You have like imposter syndrome when you like do a great play, when you go to the next play, you have like kind of fear, like will it be as good as the previous one? How do you handle it, like self-doubt?
I think there is no imposter syndrome. I think there is always a very self-aggrandizing kind of syndrome that all the plays I do are great plays. So, you know, it is like moving from one great play to the other great play.
Or do you have like self-doubt?
Always. I mean, it's not self-doubt. It's always a very tangible thing. Where one failed with a production. Where when one went wrong, where one did not put one's energy. So that helps you in the next play to make sure that you delegate time for that, work on whatever was the weakness in the last play and improve upon it.
Yes.
Have you ever had PTSD after a performance?
No.
I think that's a very younger generation thing. Like he said, read.
That is a performance that was very emotional. Very emotional.
I mean, performances are emotional. There definitely is there is so much of catharsis which happens. There is an engagement. But when the performance ends, with that also ends. So the coming out of, so I always look at it like, what if I was a carpenter? If I was a carpenter whom you had called to create a beautiful table, I created that beautiful table, and when I walk out, I don't carry that table with me. It's now left with you. So I look at my performance also that way. My job was to create that table, I created that table, and now I go out to create the next table.
So when you stage a play or when you do a character multiple times, so at one point of time it will become mechanical. So how do you keep the creative process going every time?
I'm not sure it becomes mechanical. What does become mechanical is the physical blocking. What is mechanical is in terms of you understanding, whatever actions you are going to play, etc. But each day is different. I mean, if this morning you ate idli and you went for your performance in the evening, and next morning, let us say you had chicken soup and you went for your performance, your two performances will be different. Because the stimulus that you have been exposed to through the day are different. The interpersonal relationships you engaged with different people before your performance are different. The people you are going to meet on stage with whom you are going to have your exchanges, whatever experience they went through in this day, they're going to carry it with them on stage. So it's going to be always different. So what may look mechanical is only going to be what's fixed. Everything else undergoes a change. I'm sure with your lovely performance in Short and Sweet, you yourself would have experienced it.
Where do you draw your inspiration from? Like writing plays, do you actively search for it or does it?
Life. It's always what's around us. Like I said, reading. So when you're reading different kind of things, a lot of things come forward and expose themselves. I'm writing a new play on Dara Shukho, and it is called as Grave. And it is basically a play which is about finding Dara Shukho's grave. Because which grave is Dara Shukho's in Humayun tomb is not known. I mean, recently there's a claim that someone says that I figured out which one is his, but it is not known. So this play's inspiration came when we were doing another play called Aurangzeb. And how this figure of Dara Shukho was just buried without any name, nothing, despite being the royal prince. He's one tomb among 130 tombs in Humayun's enclosure, and nobody knows which one is his. So one thing always leads to the other. So keeping oneself open with our sensory perceptions alive to everything around us, I think always helps any actor, artist to grow.
Yes.
Sir, I'm an budding actor, sir. 3 to 4 years ago, I went for a theatre. Actually, if you are auditioning a person, means how would you audition, on what basis would you audition?
So one is that in my particular theatre company, we don't have auditions. We have never had any auditions till date. And the reason is that I like to work with people who have kind of stayed with me and my process for a long time. And that kind of is very effective when I'm directing or designing. But how auditions work, or I would say that what a director might look in you as an actor is confidence. Can you give me the confidence that I can cast you? That's what I need. I don't need to see anything else. And that confidence I am going to get from you if you have done whatever is required in order to, facilitate that audition. You know your lines amazingly well, etc., etc. I think Amrita is here, and recently we had a discussion on audition, and she said she's going to audition for an OTT Tamil thing. I said, do the toughest Tamil that you can think of. Do Ilakkiya Tamil. So let your jury know that if this girl can speak this Tamil, OTT Tamil, she can handle it like that, And I think she killed it, yeah.
Sir, 2-3 years back, I was good in my confidence, I was good in my elaborating, everything was good. There were like 80 people who were getting into the audition. I was literally like 6th or 7th used to according to my ranking, I placed myself for 6th to 7th to perform on the stage audition. I got into the separate section where they used to have a one-on-one interaction with the people. They were asking me, you have self-confidence, you have perseverance, you have everything. They were like literally asking for me with thread. I was like searching all around me where's the thread. I was asking the thread which was inside my cloth, not outside my cloth. It was like a typical Brahminical, they were searching for the thing, whether I was a person in Brahmin thing or not. It's like the thing which I went was a very big fine arts club, a very big theatre, but they were still towards the ideology where only Brahminical people should be casted in their drama. How do you see this kind of stereotypical?
I would avoid stepping into the floors of such a place. I mean, theatre is fortunately, one of the very few institutions left which is all embracing. And if this kind of an issue is going to come, you should be strong enough to say sort of screw off and walk away from there. Why should you cater to that, you know? I think that's, and if they want, if you to belong to a particular community in order to cast you, unfortunately, they have no idea of how theatre works. Then they should go to an agraharam and they should pick up their actors, you know. If that's what they want. I'm not going to debate whether they are right or wrong. But if that's what they want, that's where they will go.
So do you think because of these kinds of people, theatre are only seen to a particular community of people where people from all over the place come into it? Only a few people are coming into the theatre because of these people?
I sincerely doubt it, and what you are telling me is a first experience for me. I mean, to hear about something like this is a first time experience for me, because even recently when we performed at a particular sabha, which I don't want to name, the people there openly said, is it possible that you bring plays which per se don't cater only to a particular community, but it is all embracing? And the people who said it were all threaded people. So end of the day, there are good people, there are bad people, and I don't think it per se has to do with belonging to a singular community, etc. I think it is just your mindset. So avoid bad people, stay with good people. A lot of good people in this room. Work with them.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Yes.
Which is one aspect of theatre you think that you should still improve upon? Like, this is a certain part of theatre in which, you know, I still have a few miles to go. Which aspect do you think that is?
See, one thing which I've been very proud about theatre vis-a-vis cinema is that theatre has been very democratic. You know, in the sense that all of us are equals. We sit together, we eat the same food, we get the same treatment. Doesn't matter whether you are playing Gertrude or you are playing Ophelia. Somewhere nowadays I am seeing that subtly changing. I am seeing that culture of cinema seeping into theatre. It's a toxic seepage, wherein suddenly one is able to see hegemonies in theatre. You know, the director, the main actors. That is scary, and I want to fight it tooth and nail, because that cannot be allowed to happen in theatre. Theatre has to stay democratic, it has to stay equal. Each and every one of us must feel completely safe in theatre. And anything that goes to challenge this sanctity of theatre, this perseverance and strength of theatre, all of us must openly and unabashedly fight it out. So this is something I want to do till I either see it resolved or till I last.
But my question was more directed towards the craft. Like, as an actor, do you feel that, you know, this is something that I can still improve upon? Like, or as a director or a writer?
Personally?
Yeah, personally I'm asking.
I would say spend more time on the craft. You know, every time you do a play, you are like, if I had spent another 15 hours on it. So I think that's a personal thing. But until and unless the outer fabric is strengthened, the inner is not going to exactly develop on its own. So I think both have to work together. The happier you feel in theatre, the safer you feel in theatre, the better your work will be.
Go, Sanu.
So is there any incident or incidences wherein an audience member has walked up to you and said that, the play which you portrayed on stage, I saw myself as a character over there, and they were able to really connect with it emotionally? And have they ever gotten emotional or something and reached out to you after the play and shared their experience?
Yes, I mean, to quickly talk about it, the play that Denver had mentioned, Marguerite. So there have been dancers from the classical field who have come, and they have been, and they have, I mean, recently we performed it in Mysore, and a Bharatanatyam dancer came up with tears in her eyes, and she said, "This is my story, and I'm glad that you are being the voice for it." And I told her that I'm sad I have to be the voice for it. Why am I the voice for it? What is the dancing community? Why is the dancing community not talking about this? Why are you not talking about it? And she said that, I don't think I ever can. I don't think any one of us is going to. But we are glad that you are talking about it. The onus is not on me. The accountability of talking about that dirt in a particular institution cannot be just on theatre people. It has to be on everyone. If I chose to tell that story, I have my reason for it. But yes, it happens that people do get emotionally involved, and I'm not happy with emotional involvement. I want physical involvement.
Perfect. We have time for one more question from the audience. Anybody? Yes?
Just take an instance. For example, in a theater where a creator and actor completely rehearsal day by day routinely, and also the cinema person, director completely educate an actor, and they do also the rehearsal on the set day, like in the cinema, like the final shot need to be taken, and on the theater, stage day. That they must have gone through an routine work, right? This is, you should be a strong determination should be there on the stage day. But the actor who facilitate the audience, that character who, what to say, 98% already he went through the rehearsal, but on that day there must be something impact that actor with that script, right? The 2% above or less. But on the post presentation, the audience would have been completely encouraged that everything would have been gone through. I'm just asking whether the creator would have gone through a different mindset. My character is not like this. This 2% I not need this. But that actor would have gone through something in it. That script, that character, myself, I wanted to be like that means. How that discussion, how that organically I can compel the director.
I think the director or the creator, they have to wash their hands off at a stage when the actor has gone in front of the camera or they have climbed the stage, because the actor is the person who is in the moment, who is responding to things around them. You see, as a cricketer, you might have received your coaching, your coach might have told you every day, tackle this ball on the front foot, go for the cover drive, etc. But it is you, the batsman, who is facing the bowler right now. You can play the ball only on the merit. Doesn't matter what the coach said. If like Surya Kumar Yadav, it has to be, hit like this, that's what you are going to do. I think there is a point at which the director will step back, and now it is only for the actor to do what they must do. Which means I need trust in you as an actor that you will do what is required, what is honest, what is organic. So I don't think that I can be lamenting the fact, நான் வந்து உங்களுக்கு எப்படி சொன்னேனோ அது நீங்க பண்ணலன்னு. ஏன்னா நீங்க வந்து உங்க கண்ணுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன இருக்கோ அதுதான் பண்ண போறீங்க. So that is not something a good director will ever challenge. The director will be very happy that you stayed with their directions and instructions and stayed true to what was the requirement of that particular scene.
Sorry, so just to add, I think that this fact that the directors are coming over, I think it's, from what I've seen, is based on two factors. One is they don't have the required experience to understand when to step back. The second would be the lack of your body of work. I think the more you direct, the more you understand, the more time you put into your craft, you learn to realize. Because I tell all my people, tech is the last day I'm your director. After that, it's your play, it's not mine. They'll come and ask me, Dana, what, do you have feedback? No, I don't have any feedback. If you couldn't have done what I wanted to do through rehearsals, no, it's, even if the audience come and tell you it was a good play or a bad play or whatever, it's not my play. My play is done the moment my tech is done. My tech is also not for you guys. My tech is only for technical. So literally my work with you is done at my last rehearsal for you as a director. After that, I think it's, but then again, it's not something I did when I started off 10 years back as a director. But it's because you've been doing it over and over again. I think you understand, you learn, you get to be to a better space. So I think it's just a lack of, in my terms, it's just a lack of direction. But like you said, every actor will want to do what he or she wants in that moment. So just to add on that. One more question and then we'll go to the last segment of this.
So I know that you always vouch for exposing yourself to different art forms, be it a performance or a painting, a book or anything. So I just wanted to know, like, can you share something recently that affected you, anything that you
I have been reading poems of Bertolt Brecht, and I have been reading a lot of his poems, and yeah, that is something that has been inspiring me as of now. That is there, and then there is a lot of photographs of reliefs and sculptures which my sister had recently shared because she had gone to Hampi and she knows that I'm a traditional archer. So she sent me a lot of these photographs, and for me they opened up this huge world that right from the start of time, how innovative as a society, as a group we have been, how much we have depended upon each other in order to elevate ourselves. So these kind of funny thoughts have been going around because of what I have been seeing. And again, it is not just books and poetry and sculptures, it is also a lot of life that one is seeing outside. And that is also a very powerful source of inspiration all the time. And again, don't look at it or think of it in a very huge way of inspiration. I need something to be inspired. It's literally anything and everything that is happening. Right now, what is happening between you and me is also creating something inside me right now. So I need to be open to also process and understand that.
Perfect.
Exposing to life in the sense, are you watching for like traveling or like just going around?
I don't need to go anywhere. Life is happening all around me all the time. So I don't believe in sitting at a bus stop and observing or going to a particular institution to observe. I think life is happening around us all the time, 24/7. It's very interesting. Each one of us right now is carrying so many stories inside us. Each one of us is coming from different conflicts, from different interactions, from different pleasures, from different weaknesses. All that is happening around us. How open are we to all of it? Developing that kind of a compassion for this entire room, that synergy, when we create it, I think theatre starts happening by itself.
That also, thank you.
Perfect. Sorry, I don't want to leave you hanging, but yes,
sure.
the last one.
So is an actor a craftsman or an artist?
I know the meaning of the craft person, so I stick to the fact that an actor is a crafts person. If you were to ask me what is an artist, then I would not know what to say. Like somewhere I have developed my own definition of what an artist is. I feel that a person who is able to keep their sensory perceptions open and be able to respond to all that is happening around them and be able to reflect it in any medium that they choose, they are artists. But then I myself get confused with what I said right now. So I will stick with saying that actor is a crafts person because that is tangible, that makes sense to me, and that is something that I can also tell somebody that do this. You become good at your craft, you learn how to use the tools of this craft, and you will become a good actor. But if I were to tell you to become a good artist, I don't know what I am telling you. So because of that confusion, I'll stick with craftsperson.
Perfect. Thank you, Bala.
Thanks.
So I have two more questions. For the second last one is more for me than the audience. Poochus Productions. What do you think are our shortcomings, and how should or could we change them to be better?
I'm not able to pinpoint any shortcomings. I think because I have been involved with Poochus, with kids and or as audience. So, if I talk with my experience from KISS, it was amazingly well organized from A to Z. There was absolute comfort with all kind of working. The space was safe, and that for me it ticks all the boxes for any production. And I'm not able to say this is a shortcoming. I think your financial department should know more about that. They will be able to answer that. And also the last, the Mutal,
yes,
which happened. You went for it. I wasn't able to make it, but the rest of them had come and they said it was great fun and they enjoyed it. They said they'd love to see you back dancing. And so I don't think that there are shortcomings to look to improve on, but there are lots of things to do more. So more of Denver dancing on stage, you know, more of Sandy singing on stage.
That will definitely happen. More of Denver dancing.
So lots of that together, lots of joy and happiness. And I think then Poochus is growing from strength to strength.
Perfect.
And that's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you, Bala. So my last question for the day was jotted down, and I know this is probably not how to end the show and all that, but I like to do things always different. So I'm going a little bit personal, if there is. What was the toughest day in your life?
Toughest day in my life.
See, they got silent.
I'm actually thinking about it in the sense that like everyone else, I have also had tough days. But if I were to choose which is the toughest day, it becomes, I'm actually not able to pinpoint it, because the mind immediately goes to what is socially accepted as toughest. So in the sense you are looking at the day either my father passed away, or I am looking at the day when my sister got married. But I also know that these are social constructs of toughness. These are not really the toughest days of my life. There have been days when, like, there was a day when my thyroid results came out, and my results were crazy, like they were in the thousands. They're supposed to be below 5 or something.
Whoa.
And they were in thousands. And my brother is a doctor and he was very casual about it and said, yeah, could be like carcinoma. So, yeah, get that checked, no big deal. It's the easiest cancer to have. I'm like, dude, these army doctors, they are bad. Okay, but again, like I said, it's a social construct to think of death, to think of parting with a loved one, to think of illness as tough days. Sometimes the toughest days have been about making decisions. A decision which, weighing the pros and cons of a particular thing which is going to possibly change the course of your life. They must have been the toughest, but I still am not able to look at it. One phase which was really taxing and challenging, and which was which created a lot of anxiety in me personally, was when the Me Too was happening, the Me Too movement, which was calling out theatre people. And that was a time when everything suddenly seemed to have crashed to the ground, and one was questioning one's own self, one was reflecting back again on one's own policies, working the kind of words that we use when we're talking to people, etc. So that was it was a difficult time. But I'm sure all of these together have been different tough times in one's life,
Perfect, awesome. I should have asked this question earlier, because I would have definitely wanted to elaborate on the whole Me Too movement that happened. We'll do that some other time, because it was a very, more than tough, I would say, it was a very dirty time. It was very dirty. It was. Anyways, thank you, Bala. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Venkatraman Balakrishnan. Thank you. And thank you for making our first episode of In Conversation with success. I appreciate it. And I'd like to shout out thanks to the writers and producers of our first episode of In Conversation with Mr. Kumaran Sethuraman. Thank you. Ms. Dakshana Rajaram, Mr. Craig Lobo, and Arivu, Ami, and Gokul. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This is our first edition. I hope to sit and celebrate the 20th edition with you again.